Good afternoon. This is Akashvani and I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says country will become a model of development in the next 5 years. Prime Minister unveils new statue of Sant Ravidas and launches development projects around Sant Ravidas Janam Sthali in Varanasi. Electricity rules amended to provide separate electricity connections for charging of electric vehicles. Former Lok Sabha Speaker Manohar Joshi passes away. New Delhi reiterates reform of United Nations is the need of the hour. And in Pune Open tennis, Niki Poonacha to face Australia's Dane Sweeny in the men's singles quarterfinals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that in the next 5 years the country will become model of development. This is the Modi guarantee. He was addressing a prize distribution ceremony of Sansad Sanskrit Pratiyogita at Banaras Hindu University, BHU today.
भगवान बुद्ध से जुड़े स्थानों पर भी आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और सुविधाओं का निर्माण किया जा रहा है। यूपी को कुशीनगर में इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट का लाभ मिला है। ऐसे कितने ही काम आज देश में हो रहे हैं। अगले 5 वर्षों में देश इसी आत्मविश्वास से विकास को नई रफ्तार देगा। देश सफलताओं के नए प्रतिमान गढ़ेगा और ये Modi ki guarantee hai.
Mr. Modi said Kashi has now been seen as a model of heritage and development. Prime Minister said the echo of India's rich heritage is been heard all over the world.
काशी केवल हमारी आस्था का तीर्थ ही नहीं है, ये भारत की शाश्वत चेतना का जागृत केंद्र है। एक समय था जब भारत की समृद्धि गाथा पूरे विश्व में सुनाई जाती थी। इसके पीछे भारत की केवल आर्थिक ताकत ही नहीं थी, इसके पीछे हमारी सांस्कृतिक समृद्धि भी थी, सामाजिक और आध्यात्मिक समृद्धि भी थी। हर प्रांत, हर भाषा, हर बोली, हर रिवाज, इसके लोग काशी आकर बसे हैं। जिस एक स्थान पर ऐसी विविधता होती है, वहीं नए विचारों का जन्म होता है।
Mr. Modi expressed confidence that the youth coming out from Varanasi will become the flag bearers of Indian knowledge, tradition and culture all over the world. The Prime Minister said among the languages that have made the biggest contribution to the development of knowledge, science and spirituality, Sanskrit is the most prominent. He said India is an idea and Sanskrit is its chief expression. India is a journey, Sanskrit is the main chapter of its history.
भारतस्य प्रतिष्ठे ध्रुवे संस्कृतम संस्कृतिस्थता, अर्थात भारत की प्रतिष्ठा में संस्कृत की बड़ी भूमिका है। एक समय था जब हमारे देश में संस्कृत ही वैज्ञानिक शोध की भाषा होती थी और शास्त्रीय बोध की भी भाषा संस्कृत होती थी। इसके साथ ही साहित्य, संगीत और कलाओं की कितनी विधाएं भी संस्कृत भाषा से ही पैदा हुई है। इन्हीं विधाओं से भारत को पहचान मिली है।
Mr. Modi said recitation of the Vedas in Kashi and Kanchi are the notes of Ek Bharat Shresh Bharat. The Prime Minister also presented awards to the winners of the Kashi Sansad Gyan Pratiyogita, Kashi Sansad Photography Pratiyogita and Kashi Sansad Sanskrit Pratiyogita on the occasion. Prime Minister visited Sant Guru Ravidas Janam Sthali temple at Sir Govardhanpur near BHU and offered prayers. Mr. Modi unveiled the new statue of Sant Ravidas and inaugurated and laid foundation stones for development works around Sant Ravidas Janam Sthali. Prime Minister also attended a public function commemorating 647th birth anniversary of Sant Guru Ravidas. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Modi expressed happiness that as the representative of Kashi, he got the opportunity to serve the followers of Sant Ravidas. Prime Minister is scheduled to launch development projects worth over 13,000 crore rupees in Varanasi today. The religious enthusiasm displayed by Hindus after the inauguration of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple in Ayodhya has captured the world's attention, with observers describing it as one of the strongest forces reshaping the world. Writing in a foreign daily, American academic Walter Russell Mead observes that projects like Kashi Vishwanath Corridor and Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir are intended to fuel economic growth while fostering Hindu pride, a strategy that has consolidated the BJP stake to power. Citing the tenfold increase in the number of visitors to Varanasi after the inauguration of the Kashi Vishwanath Corridor, he points out that the massive infrastructure projects that are in the pipeline in Ayodhya will further harness the piety of India's rising middle class, sparking an economic boom. Consumers can now obtain separate electricity connections for charging the electric vehicles. According to the amended Electricity Rights of Consumers rules, time period for obtaining new electricity connection has also been reduced. Under the new rules, time limit has been reduced from 7 days to 3 days in metropolitan areas, from 15 days to 7 days in other municipal areas, and from 30 days to 15 days in rural areas. The Power Ministry said in cases where consumers raise complaints about meter reading not aligning with the actual electricity consumption, the distribution licensee is now required to install an additional meter within 5 days from the date of receipt of the complaint. Union Power and New and Renewable Energy Minister R.K. Singh said the amended rules will empower consumers and reduce the timeline for getting new electricity connections. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Former Maharashtra Chief Minister and senior Shiv Sena leader Manohar Joshi passed away early this morning. Joshi, a former Speaker of the Lok Sabha, was admitted to the hospital on Wednesday after he suffered a cardiac arrest. The 86-year-old Shiv Sena stalwart served as Chief Minister from 1995 to 1999 and was the Chief Minister from the party. He was elected as a Member of Parliament and was the Lok Sabha Speaker from 2002 to 2004. President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed grief on the demise of Shiv Sena leader. President Murmu said Manohar Joshi was a veteran leader who had served as a Lok Sabha Speaker and Maharashtra Chief Minister. She said in his long public life, Mr. Joshi endeared himself to people, earned admiration for his sharp wit and intellect, and was loved by leaders cutting across party line. Prime Minister Modi said Manohar Joshi was a veteran leader who spent years in public service and held various responsibilities at the municipal, state and national level. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed grief on the passing away of Bharatiya Janata Party MLA in the Maharashtra Assembly, Rajendra Patni. In a social media post, Mr. Modi said that Mr. Patni was at the forefront of several community service initiatives and was an effective voice for the people. Prime Minister further added he played a commendable role in strengthening the party as well. Mr. Modi offered his condolences to Mr. Patni's family and supporters. In Telangana, the Secunderabad Cantonment MLA and BRS leader Lasya Nandita was killed in a road accident near Hyderabad this morning. The accident occurred on the outer ring road when a car collided with the road divider. The first-time MLA suffered serious injuries. The 37-year-old MLA was rushed to the hospital but succumbed to injuries. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has reiterated that reform of the United Nations, UN, is a need of the hour, as the UN is still a reflection of a colonial-era organization. Speaking during the Raisina dialogue in New Delhi today, Dr. Jaishankar said that different models, including Mexico model, Liechtenstein model, and L69 model, have been presented before the UN for its reform. He stressed that middle ground need to be explored after listening to the views of the UN members.
And we need a radical change because, look, it's a common sense proposition. If you take the UN, when the UN was invented, it had approximately 50 members. We have 4 times the members. So it's a common sense proposition that you can't continue.
He has been brought back on track and is in good shape currently under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Speaking to the Raisina dialogue in New Delhi, Mr. Goel said that the government has used the last 10 years on a twin track of strengthening the macroeconomic fundamentals and ensuring welfare to the last mile. He said that various initiatives launched by the government, including Startup India, Make in India and Digital India, have bolstered the Indian economy. He said India is wide opening its doors for international engagement. Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri today said that the Sustainable Development Goals will only be succeeded if India succeeds. He was speaking at the UN Global Compact Network's 18th National Convention Conference titled Advancing Sustainable India, Driving Change with Forward Faster 2030 in New Delhi. He said that over 250 million people have been brought out from multidimensional poverty in the last 10 years. Mr. Puri said under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, all the policies are centered around women's development agenda. Deputy Chief of the Air Staff Air Marshal Ashutosh Dikshit today affirmed the commitment of the Indian Air Force to spearhead aerospace industry development and indigenous production. He called for collaborative efforts among industry stakeholders to realize the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Speaking at the 17th Conference on Energizing Indian Aerospace Industry, Challenges for Atmanirbhar Bharat in New Delhi, he emphasized the imperative of achieving full spectrum of self-sufficiency within the Indian aerospace sector.
We are now in the process of setting up, conceptualizing a national aerospace testing kind of center, which will put all the disciplines together under one roof. It becomes easy for the industry to navigate the complex path of certification, qualification, and manufacturing clearance, those kind of. We have now decided to enter the skilling program of government. That is called NAPS. It is under apprenticeship program, and we are opening up all our DRDs and special institutes where we will be providing this apprenticeship training to these people.
In Pune Open tennis, Niki Poonacha will face the Australian Dane Sweeny in the men's singles quarterfinal this evening. He entered the quarterfinals upsetting his compatriot Sumit Nagal 6-4, 6-3 in the pre-quarters yesterday. Earlier in the men's singles quarterfinals today, India's M. Sashi Kumar faced a defeat against Adam Walton of Australia in a walkover. In the doubles semi-finals, Indian duo of Ram Kumar Ramanathan and Saket Maineni will face the Australian pair of Tristan Schoolgate and Adam Walton at 3 p.m. Later, another Indian pair, Jeevan Nedunchezian and Arjun Khare, will face Dan Added of France and Chung Yang-sung of South Korea in the doubles semi-finals. In cricket, India have tightened the grip on the fourth test against England as they have dismissed 5 batters in the first session of the match in Ranchi. England were 198 for 5 at tea. Fast bowler Akashdeep, who had made a debut for India, has scalped 3 wickets. Earlier, England captain Ben Stokes won the toss and chose to bat first. The second edition of the Women's Premier League WPL is set to start today. In the first match, reigning champions Mumbai Indians, led by the Indian skipper Harmanpreet Kaur, will face Delhi Capitals led by the Australian Mag Lanning. The match will begin at 7:30 this evening at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium, Bangalore. 5 teams will compete in a total of 22 matches. Royal Challengers Bangalore, Gujarat Titans and UP Warriors are the remaining teams. All the 22 matches will be held at 2 stadiums, the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore and the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says country will become a model of development in the next 5 years. Prime Minister unveils new statue of Sant Ravidas and launches development projects around Sant Ravidas Janam Sthali in Varanasi. Electricity rules amended to provide separate electricity connections for charging of electric vehicles. Former Lok Sabha Speaker Manohar Joshi passes away. New Delhi reiterates reform of United Nations is the need of the hour. And in Pune Open tennis, Niki Poonacha to face Australia's Dane Sweeny in the men's singles quarterfinals. And with that, we end the midday news.